Hello everyone, Dan at 14 Prime here. Today I wanted to share with you guys the Hot Toys War Machine from the Iron Man 2 movie. This is their movie masterpiece series 331-D13. Super huge figure, really cool, big hulking die-cast dude. Pricey figure, north of 350 bucks, but you get, I think, a lot for your money here just in terms of the size of the figure, the die-cast, and all kinds of goodies with battle damage. So we'll take a look at all that through the review. This is the Mark I suit, so old school, big, chunky, guns everywhere in sort of a very crude way, and a lot hidden here even in terms of additional weapons. I've got some of the basic lights on here, chest, hands, and eyes. That's where all the light up features are. We'll take a look at them in a little bit of darker context so you can see them better, but eyes look really, really cool. The chest is really bright. I'll quickly here put him next to a Mark II suit. Iron Patriot there on the right, Hot Toys diecast figure as well. You can just see how much bigger, taller, chunkier that Mark I is than the Iron Patriot. I'll keep him in this pose and just give him a spin around so you can check out the wide angle. See the big gun on the back. It's cool. It's got the ammo flowing from the back to the gun. See the guns underneath the arms as well, which fold up into the forearm. Mark I there on the shoulder. Here you've got the back of the figure, which is really cool. Again, you get to see the whole gun set up and the ammo sleeve coming through. There's a lot on the back that's kind of hidden. He's got jetpack that flips out on his back. And then down on the calves, he's actually got kind of rockets down there as well. And we'll take a closer look at all that. And then here on his right side, finally, just to complete the 360 tour from a distance. Obviously a lot like the left, the big machine gun underneath. Just big chunky legs when you look at this guy. Some interesting colors there on the feet as well. And again, why don't we go ahead and check this guy out closer up. So here's a good shot of the first kind of upper half of the body. You see all the lights on in the hands, the chest, the eyes lit up. Again, beautiful looking figure. And let's get in real tight to look at all this detail. Okay, so now we're in nice and tight. We've got him basically in a museum pose, and we're going to check this guy out. You can take a look at the head sculpt there. Again, I've got the red eye lights on. Get a look at the side of that head. It's pretty standard Iron Man type head, but Mark I, of course, there's some red detailing up here on top. A little bit dark, but you can see it there. Again, it's just a nice sort of natural wear paint effect across the figure as a whole. Even on the mask, there's a little bit of, damage, but it's definitely not major battle damage. But what you can do is take off the faceplate. That's the light underneath. It's got a damaged faceplate. I actually kind of like this one, just with everything else clean, but with that on, I think that looks cool. He's got a bunch of battle damage parts. I'll show them all to you, and then I'll just put them on because it's a lot of pieces. So I'll just kind of do with and without, but this is the battle damage face mask, which is super cool. And I'll show you the other parts again later in the video, and I'll show you him in battle damaged form. That's the head sculpt. It looks really cool. You shut the light off with the switch under here. They did a nice job with the switches, except for this one. I'm always bitter at Hot Toys for the switches because of the Darth Vader situation. This one you have to pop up this headpiece to flip it on and off. I mean, why not just put it on his nose, on his forehead, and make it really accessible? That's what they should have done. But the arm switches and the chest switch are all just accessible right on the figure, which I love. Give you a quick look at the cannon here from the front. We'll go in closer on that, but you can check it out. Just kind of focusing on the front there. You can see a lot of nice detailing through the barrel. Focus on the back there. You can look at the back of that gun. Really a lot of nice detail, and we'll go in closer on that. Okay, so I've got all his lights off so he's not glaring back at the lens. Let's just check him out. And you can look at all this really great paint work. Again, it's kind of worn. Just like the right amount of wear, right? Big chunky suit, heavy as hell. That chest plate, a lot of these pieces will be damage part interchangeable. So just trying to give you some look at this top shot here. Top half of the body. Take a look at the top of those arms. He's got the articulated hands in right now. Comes with some fists, some Repulsor Blaster hands, and then a saluting hand as well, which I'll show you. Got these big machine guns that really fold into the back of the arm. You can't really see them from here. You'll see them on the side. But you can see a lot of good detail there. Again, the number 1 over here. Kind of the Air Force logo over there. Again, you'll see it better from the side. Big chunky shoulder pads. A lot up here to accommodate articulation. These basically flip out. I believe even one of these is replaceable with battle damage. You can see how it's kind of on this rotating peg piece. That'll fold down and even kind of rotate for you. And then you can even, the arm piece, you can like pull it. It's on like this groove type thing. You can even kind of pull that down for more articulation. I'll just kind of show you some of that stuff as I go. So that's really cool in design. He's got some cool extras in the chest here. What you do is you just kind of pull down. See how these just kind of spring load. Pull that down to pull this guy up. And you can just flip that up. And he has, I'll watch the head a little bit there. We got this missile bay that'll pop up. That's pretty cool. Kind of 6 missile heads in there. And it's, you know, very rotatable. Again, just watch the head. Not much on the other side. I'm trying to show you the other side just like that. Again, you can battle damage this piece as well. And then again, other side of the figure. Pull this down. A little bit tougher to get this guy out, but you kind of flip it back and up. And you need to kind of get the extension out of there. Where is it at? There we go. There it is. So that is the ex-wife rocket launcher. So you can check that out. That looks pretty cool. So there you can see the profile of that. Again, pops up nice and neat out of the shoulder. Rocket launcher is right there. And of course, here you can see he comes with the ex-wife, this tiny, tiny missile. And you can basically slide that missile right in the launcher. It doesn't stay or click or anything. You just kind of lay it in there. It will fall out, so it's something you'd be at risk of losing. So you probably want to put them in your case and put that in if that's how you'd want to display it, because it might fall out if you're moving it around. But again, great attention to detail there. Great with all these flip-up weapons. It looks really cool. So here you can take a look at that weapon bay close up. 6 missiles on the right. The ex-wife launcher, the big gun. You can really get this guy stacked and looking with some big weapons, plus the machine guns on the arm like I had him earlier. Really cool look. All right, so let's do one final pan down here. Kind of see it all in action there. Down into the chest, which is big and hulking. Again, down into the waist, and you see the big chunky arms as well. Let's jump down to the legs. All right, so here's the front of the lower body. I mean, usually not a lot to get too excited about, right? But it does look really cool. The guy's got these big, big armored legs. You can see big thigh plates. A lot going on in like the knee, and you'll see when I do a little more articulation, but like a plate here, so things kind of move around and separate. It looks all like one armored piece, but there's good movement in there, which is cool. Got these big, big calves. There's some removable magnetic plates, which will be easier to show you here in a second. And then down into these big chunky feet. So let's check some of that stuff out. So if we're up here in this knee section, like I mentioned, you can see how that piece kind of bends out, reveals more of like the suit underneath there. And it double joints, right? So you actually get this piece kind of hangs tight on the knee. And then below here, you get this double bend. It starts to separate into this plate as well down here. You can see how that kind of provides some articulation for the armor. So pretty cool. Double jointed knee. Sorry, I'm all up in the camera here. And you can see how all that just kind of snaps together. One really well engineered design, all fits together. Nice piece. And when you start to do your articulation, double joint knee, come down, and you can get quite a bit with the knee because of that, which is just awesome. So a couple other things while I'm just showing you a bit of the lower leg, and you'll see some of this because I want to do all angles like I usually do, but these pieces here just kind of attach on magnets, right? And you can see some of the suit underneath, which is cool. You can take a look at that. It's got some nice detail where kind of some venting effects on the back there. That's cool. It just slips right on like that. It's the same on the inside as well. You can see here inside the leg, this panel just pops right off as well. And again, you get more of that armor suit detail. And this is just a smooth piece. You know, so it's just a little extra gimmick there. Could have done or not done that, but it's cool that you get little extras like that. Okay, let's spin this guy around to the side here, going close on this sweet, huge cannon. It's like they put this like Gatling gun on there, you know, when they first made him, which is cool. Kind of like almost like a wear and rust paint effect through there. Looks really good. Now this does articulate a little bit. I was just trying to spin it and it wouldn't move there. Oh, okay. So it spins to the right. Not easy though, but it does rotate a little bit. But not like something you could really sort of probably do as easily as you wanted to. When I had it like spinning really fast, you know, you can't really do that. But it does rotate. The back rotates as well, but with the bullets in, it's limited a little bit, but rotates there. Plugs in right there, just straight down. So it'll pivot off that point, pivot up on that point. Nothing else really there. It's kind of like this, and then those rotating points. A huge, cool gun. Classic piece of Mark I, and they did a really nice job with it. Okay, so let's just kind of pan down here, give you a shot there of the rocket launcher, ex-wife rocket launcher up on the shoulder. You've seen that. You come down to the shoulder, you've got the Mark I. Come down into the arm. Get the Air Force logos there. Kind of step out a little bit here. The arm gets chunky, right? So right there. Got these big guns underneath there. Big chunky forearms. So what it does here is actually these guns flip down. So they're machine guns that he can flip down like that. He has wrist guard kind of here on his hand. So here, if I just give you a little bit of a side view of that, you can see how that flips around. Just kind of attaches up there. I believe they can come off. They come on the figure, but the instructions make it look like you're supposed to be putting them on, but they're already on the figure. And the elbow articulation, as you can see there, is pretty good as well. Nice double bend there. Really cool huge gun hanging off there. Okay, so I'll just kind of lift that up out of the way. Get a lot of nice wear there. Just one final look there. You can see kind of just the battle damage and the wear on the arm. Looks good. Come down to the side. There's that Air Force logo I pointed out. You can check out just some of the colors with the gunmetal gray to the silver in the waist, back to the gunmetal gray, the wear down into the leg. Looks really good. And here we'll just jump down, do the rest of this quick tour here. Really cool details across that big leg. Down into the calf area. So you can check out that big boot, which is cool. Has a lot of good detail in here. Some pieces that will move to articulate the foot. Already showed you guys this piece, but while we're here, that flips off. Take another peek at that. So that is really cool. Okay, so let's spin this guy around back. There's a lot going on in the back. It's really cool. There are some what I'd call Easter eggs back here. Just some really pleasant surprises. Obviously, you've got the really cool kind of bullet section coming out. Just plugs into the gun, plugs into his back. What's cool here with the gun that I didn't show from the side is that actually it's got like a full range across the top of the back. So if you want to go wide with that articulation, out wider across the shoulder, you can. If you want to have that tighter in, like over the shoulder, just pull it on over to the right. So that's an extra nice piece of articulation there, so you can get kind of the outplacement of the gun where you want it. So that's really cool. So here you can really check out the back of the figure. Got this cool kind of, backpack chunk looking thing. We'll look at that in a second. Comes down into the waist. You can see the back of the arms where the guns really kind of sit. But let's come up here. And let's kind of go through some of these things. So up here again, a lot of battle damage pieces I'll show you, but you can actually swap out a lot of these pieces. What's cool here on the back, that's where the bullets go, right there. Battery cover's right under here. This piece can be battle damage swapped out as well, which is kind of interesting because it's actually a screw-on. It's like the battery cover. So it's not the easiest battle damage piece to apply because you flip that down. And then there you can see the screw hole, and under there's the batteries. But they give you that as a battle damage piece, which is pretty cool. And then here on these kind of And they look like vented sections, and it's because they are. They fold out, and from straight on, it just probably looks like a very subtle sort of elevation of the piece, which it is. But if I can get the angle here, it's actually his rockets. So that's like the jetpack effect, and he's got these like on his calves too. You really actually get like a full kind of flying mode. It's really subtle because it just sits under there just like that. But you can see that's how it is when it's up. That's how it is when it's down, right? So not a ton of articulation there, but there doesn't need to be. And I think it's really well done in terms of just how much it does come out and what's sort of revealed underneath there. So that is really nice. And then kind of the extra little pieces, oh, they're already flipped. These pieces kind of flip up and give you that little dot. So that's kind of flight mode as well. They flip down like this. So that's kind of normal mode right there. Just like chrome trim accents. And then when you kind of flip them out like that, you get the jet piece facing down. So there's a couple of fine details there on the back. And again, battle damage swap outs for those, which I'll show you. And then really on the back to be showing you is just like these guns on the back of the arms there. These are really cool. Big, whole length of the form gun that flips out there. Take a look at that. A lot of nice detail on there. Yet another different tone of gunmetal gray. It just folds right up along the back of the form there. You've got the light switch right there. Nice and accessible. Thank you, Hot Toys. Hand shield right there. But that all comes together really, really nice. Looks good. Some kind of hazard detailing there, on each arm. Really, really cool. Then if we just jump down back at the figure, it looks good. I mean, they could have made this kind of really clunky looking and not good, but obviously Hot Toys is going nail screen accuracy, but I just think the whole design, the situation there in the back, really makes it kind of come together really well. So that looks really good. Then you jump down here into the legs. Again, you've got that just oh so light of a wear. There's probably even more than you can see too well. You really got to look. It's through there. It's through there. It's through there. Just that light kind of scratching, which is really cool. Then we get down into the calf area where we've got more little kind of Easter eggs down here. And I'm just going to jump really all the way down. So it's, on the calf here. Again, it's basically always positioned like this. So you've got your rockets underneath there. You can see some cool detailing kind of even on the back of the boot right there with that gold trim and kind of those rocket-like looking things there. Vents. But there you've got the blasters, rocket engines, we're going to call them, in the calf. And just, let's take a look at this here. This looks really nice. Nice with this gold trim. Like you got these vents kind of here and here, through here. That looks really good. And then on this piece, you can pull it down to allow you to pull it open a little more. So the engine's always in there. You can sort of choose how visible you want to make it based off of this vent. And again, to pull it up like this, you need to kind of pull it down. Otherwise, you can kind of tuck it away more like that. So again, I think that flight pose is cool. You can get these really exposed, get the rockets off the back. That's a cool look too. All right, guys, and then here's right side. I'm going to kind of book, right? So this is the right shoulder that had the rocket launcher, like the six missile rocket launcher on it, and everything else is really kind of the same. You got the Mark I there, big arm, right, and the big legs. So there's really nothing different on this side that you haven't already seen on the other side. Okay, so that's the figure. It took a good amount of time, except there's a lot there to see. It's a beautiful big figure. But let's get into some of those extras now, because there's even more. Okay, so lots of extras with this guy. Like I said, he comes with some fists, some hands. Let's take a look at that. These are what come on him, just basically closed fist, no light through the hand. You get a pair of these. You get a pair of these, which has the kind of wrist angled up. These are the Repulsor Blaster hands with the light coming through. You know, and they've got some kind of squishiness to them, so they're not going to break on you. Got some pliability in the fingers. You get a set of those. Then you get the salute hand with the repulsor light that will go through as well, which is cool. But, you know, War Machine, got to be able to salute. You get one of those for the right hand. And then on the figure, as you'd seen when I was showing it to you, you get a pair of articulated hands. I've put them on the figure, I should say. Again, he comes with the fists on, but you get these articulated hands, which gives you all the knuckle movement, doesn't give you any kind of movement at the top of the finger. Does let the light show through with the repulsor. But, you know, you can't make like a perfect fist with it, which is, of course, why they give you a fist. I take that back. You can get a pretty good fist. Actually, when you close it up, those things start to come together a little bit better up there. Not too bad, actually. Decent fist. But again, these are kind of the default hands of choice for me because you can do the most with them. You get the ex-wife missile, which I already showed you. And then you get the Donnie head sculpt here, which is good. There's a little bit of extra kind of articulation here, which you can do in terms of just opening up the face more. You know, they've done this head sculpt many, many times. They do a nice job with it always. And you can see some of this, you know, detailing, quite consistent with the light up head that's on there. They've got that. Okay, now this whole next wave of stuff I'm going to show you is basically battle damage. So I'm going to show it to you, then I'll hop off and dress up the figure and you can see it. But these are basically those rockets that go on his back. So they give you each of those to battle damage his back. Again, they give you even the battery cover piece, which you have to screw on. So a very fine piece of battle damage there. Not easy to get on and off, but cool that they give it to you. You get like a nub of the gun, so you can take off the barrel, put this on. I believe it was when Whiplash just basically sliced the whole thing off. Kind of rubbery, so you don't have to worry about that breaking. So that'll plug in to battle damage up the gun. We get one shoulder plate. I believe this is the right, would be the right shoulder plate. Battle damage on it. Again, I showed you how that articulates. It kind of just, you know, will be on a ball joint and plug right in. So that's cool. They give you battle damage for those shoulder rocket accessories. The ex-wife, which is this one, and then the 6 missile launcher one, which is this one. Basically like the top pieces. Give you those. You get the whole chest piece here. You see, which is really jacked up. There's bullet holes in it and giant sections of missing metal over here. So that just snaps on the whole chest. It really gives a really beat up effect. So I didn't love it, but I'll put it on and I'll show you because he really looks jacked up with this on. And then here my favorite piece, which I even like when he's kind of relatively clean looking, is the mask. I think the mask works about in any sort of pose or position you want to do or display option. So that looks really good. All right, so let's get it all on him. Quick peek here while I'm getting the battle damage on him. When you pop off the chest, you look underneath, you get to see kind of the armor skeleton. So pretty typical. You see this on a lot of figures, but just want to let you check that out. Okay, so I've got them all dressed up in the battle damage. Check it out. Point the pieces out again. The mask, very obvious battle damage. The gun up there, all cut up. You guys can take a look at that stuff. That all looks pretty cool. You come down here. I mentioned the top of the missile launcher. I just went ahead and put these down. You got some battle damage up there, kind of top of the shoulder. This shoulder piece, battle damage. Of course, the chest, which is the worst of it, all through there. That's where, for me, it just looks a little too much. It's like he's all jacked up. I would have liked, you know, I could use the shoulder, the mask, some of these pieces, even this. But here he's just like down and out. So don't know that I'd ever have him displayed like that. Come down here on the inside of the arm. I think I accidentally called that part of a shoulder piece. It's actually another piece of battle damage that kind of goes on the inside right there. I think that's kind of everything from the front. Nothing really goes downstairs. But again, what you could do is pop off some of these leg panels that I showed you. You know, if you wanted to kind of just show a little bit more of an armor damage effect, you could do that. Here's just a little bit from a different angle, so you can see that shoulder a little bit better, see the chest. Even kind of comes around on the inside for the battle damage. Here's a little bit better shot of that inside of the left arm, battle damage in there. And over here you get a little bit better look of that gun with just the nubs there. It's a pretty cool effect. And then when you spin around the back, it's really, again, all upstairs where the battle damage is. So the shoulder, it kind of comes around. You can see some of the effect there. It's these two rocket launcher pieces, which still work in articulation. They still have the rockets under there. But they're all battle damaged up. And then the most annoying piece, which is like the battery cover, you actually need to unscrew and screw this back on to get this tiny little piece in, which is more trouble than it's worth. So for Hot Toys there, I'd say make the battle damage easier to swap in and out than what we need to do for that tiny piece there. Okay, so that's it. That's the battle damage. Again, nothing downstairs on the back either. But again, you could play with those leg panels if you wanted to. Then the last extra to show you would just be the base. So you get this, you know, pretty nice base. I mean, it's simple, kind of, you know, crotch grabber base. There's not a lot of room on there for him to be standing. So he's a big guy. The base really kind of limits foot placement. I realize people have mixed emotions about this. You know, you like a base, you don't want a base. You want a base small to be efficient. You want it to look nice, whatever. But, you know, I appreciate, I mean, you pay for it, right? It's part of what you're paying for. So I like to get them. I like to use them generally. But I like them to be able to not be so limiting. And this one with the big kind of damage bot over here, the different shrapnel all around it, it does make it a little more difficult for foot placement. You kind of have like this space here, and then often you've got a leg up needing to happen over here. So that actually kind of limits a little bit what you can do, but it's very nicely done. You can see the paint with the grass effect, the battle damage, pieces everywhere, kind of the rocks. It was like flowing, there was like a river or something, some water. And so it has a kind of a sheen effect on it as well. So you can, you kind of feel that, you know, you get that effect when you look at it. And then of course, just the big scrap metal over here, which is really nicely done. There's a lot of good detail in that as well. You know, I like it. It's relevant to the movie. It's unique to my knowledge. You know, it's not like a repurpose, at least to my knowledge. But again, it's kind of one of these ones where it's like, how do I best get them on there? But I do think I'll have them on this display. All right, guys, so we'll move on to articulation, and I'm not going to drain it because I was kind of showing you stuff as we went along. Pretty much showing you a lot of the head, shoulders, elbows, knee type stuff. So there's just a couple extra things I want to point out. Again, I've showed you how these kind of are really articulated, how you can pull the arms down. You can pull the chest up. This piece just loves to fall off, so I'm just going to take it off. But to get more waist articulation, there's kind of a stretch effect you can do. I tend to just have them up, but you can see it happens right here. Makes him a little taller. He's more condensed like that. If you want to kind of get out some of the articulation, just give it a little bit lift. And, you know, you can get pretty good articulation through here. You can get rock like this. So it's pretty good for a big die-cast figure. And then if you go downstairs, really, you know, they give you some more help as well. So not unusual, but you kind of just can give the legs a little bit of a pull down. That one's probably already down. There you go. So you can see how that kind of can ratchet down there and open up more the hip section. You can see the difference. This one's down, this one's up. Creates a little more space there. And they've got little pieces that help articulate, you know, what you want to do with the leg. So you can get that bad boy up pretty well. Look at that. You pull the leg down and put that up. I mean, you can get the leg entirely up. Showing you the double jointed knee already. Do a big stomp on someone's face if you wanted to. I mean, look at that. Pretzel the legs. It's really impressive for a big, hefty figure like this. If you want to have some sweet flight pose, you could do that as well. That's all in there. Then also up here, you can get, like, you know, your thighs swivel. And your foot has got a lot of movement in here as well. Kind of pivot at the toe. rock back and forth a little bit. So that's going to, there you go, pivot there. It's going to do what you need to do. You just need to kind of watch this armor on the side, but that's going to give you a little bit of articulation as well to accommodate. So just really impressive with the articulation and all the panel movements that help accommodate it and how well it's all sort of hidden and put together. Bottom of the boot here, if I haven't showed you that yet. All right, guys, so that's the War Machine. Let me just close by really just getting them in some different poses so you can see them in action. I'll get the lights back on so you can check that out. Try to mix and match some pieces, and you can see what this guy can look like on your shelf if you're interested in picking him up. He's a huge, huge figure. Glad I picked him up. I think it's, it's the representation of War Machine you want. Got options out there. I think this is, this is the one for me. Don't really like the Mark IIs much at all. I think the Civil War suit is an interesting mix of them both. But I'm gonna stick with this guy, and really happy with all the pieces that come with it and everything you get. So let's check them out in some poses. One thing, guys, the magnet situation with this mask is just terrible. It's awful. It pulls to his right. It's like there's barely even a magnet there on the left. It'll go down, of course. On. But trying to get this thing propped up nicely. It suffers from a lot of the issues that a lot of Iron Man figures do. Is it's just always crooked. This has got to be the worst I've seen of the not very good. Can't do it. Trying to get this picture right, but it's just not going to happen. Got to take it off. So there you have it, guys. Hot Toys War Machine diecast MMS 331-D13. Really happy with the figure. Super nice. No complaints save for that mask going on the Donnie head sculpt. Just does not want to balance well, so can't really use that feature, but love the rest of the figure. Hope you enjoyed checking it out with me. I'll see you next time. Hello everyone, Dan the 14th Prime here. Today I want to check out with you guys the Deadpool Merc with the Mouth Revoltex style.